Hello everyone and welcome. So here in today's forecast, I will go through each rising sign and I'll tell you how the month of April 2023 will influence your zodiac sign on a deeper level. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Justina, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here you can find the timestamps in the comment section and the description box down below this video. April is a busy month, same as March. These are probably the most important months in 2023. We've got the eclipses starting in April, along with Mercury stationing retrograde. Both Venus and Mars are out of bounds, so lots of different energies. So let's dive deep and straight into your forecast and let's begin. Hello Aries, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming month, April 2023. This month, Mars, your ruler, is in Cancer, the sign where it doesn't feel very comfortable in your fourth house. With Mars in Cancer in the fourth, you can achieve quite a lot in your domestic life. So you may see yourself decluttering, renovating, moving, redecorating, refurnishing, for example, but also hosting family gatherings of some sort as well. Mars will be here until the second part of May. Mars is still out of bounds until the 4th of May, so you may also see yourself acting out of the character in the home sphere, perhaps getting an object that is completely out of your character, something that could spice up your home decor, for example. At the same time, Mars will also square your 7th and the 1st house, oppose your 10th, your career life. So it might be that something connected to your home requires your attention throughout April. Perhaps you will have to let go temporarily of some personal goals, desires, in order to dedicate your time, your energies into your home life, into your family relationships, for example, as well. Now on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus. Mercury will remain in Taurus throughout the whole of the month. And the reason for that is because Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st, at which point it will station direct at 11 degrees of Taurus. Now here, this is your second house, so lots of things, interactions, energies stimulating your financial area. You will see that you will be reviewing some aspects of your financial area, your income, but at the same time, make sure that you keep all your receipts, because not every purchase that you make you will want to keep. You may want to return some things, especially if the things that you buy during Mercury retrograde. At the same time, this is a great time for really taking a deeper look at your money area, at your income, because with the eclipses starting on the 19th, 20th of April, you will begin a 2.5 cycle when you will be reinventing yourself. This will be about self-discovery, self-improvement, perhaps even career-related changes as well, with Saturn having recently changed signs from Aquarius to Pisces. There's also a shift of mindset, shift of energy that is connected to your career area as well, since Saturn rules the 10th house. So here with Mercury retrograde in your second house, the second part of April, you will also be analyzing your financial area, your income, and you may also see yourself building financial plan, a retirement plan, or perhaps a business plan if you have a new business idea, or perhaps an idea connected to a side hustle, a side business. So whatever it is, money is definitely on your mind here, and you'll see yourself thinking about your money situation, stability and safety here, and security in the financial sense is here highlighted. All right, so on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees of Libra. This is your 7th house, so at this point, you'll be also turning a lot of attention into your one-to-ones, your personal relationships. Usually a full moon brings an important matter into light, things that perhaps were overlooked in the past. They will be more apparent, connected to your love life, business partnerships, contracts that you may have with other people, perhaps contract connected to your home situation or your career, for example, will go under a great review. Perhaps this is a time to renew a contract, and then you might see yourself signing some paperwork, legal matters. There's an element of surprise as well. The ruler of this full moon is Venus. It will be in a very close proximity to Uranus. Perhaps this could be a time when you change your mind, change your direction, and decide that you want to implement some changes within your relationship. Perhaps if you've been planning to go away with your partner, relocate, perhaps you may see yourself having important conversations, having to decide as well between two different scenarios. For example, this could be very much the case here. I will explore this full moon further in a couple of weeks. Now, moving forward on the 11th, we've got Venus moving into Gemini. Venus in Gemini wants stimulation. Venus in Gemini wants generally you will feel like experiencing different sort of things, so you might get bored with monotony. Here from the 11th until the end of the month, you will seek versatility in your daily life, and you may enjoy also traveling. This is also when you may want to dive deep into some creative projects, projects connected to speaking, writing, website design, or perhaps you may want to study something, short courses, whatever it is. Venus here gives you activates your creative side of psyche, and also gives you this need or stimulation to get involved in social activities as well. All right, so Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So this is also when you may have some really interesting ideas, creative ideas. Perhaps you may visit a place, a historic place, something unusual, different from the usual, from your usual taste. Or perhaps you might meet some interesting people throughout this period as well, because here Venus will be out of bounds during the time of the eclipse in the sign of Aries. So here on the 19th, 20th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees of Aries. This eclipse will square Pluto. So basically, during this time here, an eclipse happening at such a late degree, there is a sense of urgency here, having to begin something, attend to something important immediately. So you might feel impatient about a project, perhaps that you've been wanting to launch, perhaps a course or a business you've been wanting to begin. Now, here with the square from Pluto, there could be an obstacle, perhaps something that seemed very clear might suddenly become quite complicated, quite complex, and you might have to make an important decision. You might have to overcome an important challenge, perhaps. There could be like very intense emotions that you will have to deal with internally as well. So here, an important decision, an obstacle, having to overcome some internal fears even. This could be very much the theme of this eclipse, because with the anaretic degree of this eclipse, there is this feeling of perhaps you might not feel that comfortable at this point, because here there's a feeling of now or never, having to do something before it the opportunity dissolves. These are new beginnings concerning to your own persona, but there's an element of something connected to your income, financial area as well, since we've got this eclipse in such close proximity to your second house cusp. And the nodes at this point are still on Taurus and Scorpio axis. So here there's an element also of the financial area that comes into light as well. But overall, major new beginnings connected to your persona, your goals, your desires. You are in reinventing yourself. This is about self-discovery. So you might see yourself launching a new business, moving forward. You might see yourself starting a new career. This could be also in regards to some changes happening in your personal relationships, since we had that full moon in Libra on the 6th. And we are going to have a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra in October. So lots of changes. So you will see that there will be new people that enter your life in the upcoming 2 years. That will change your mindset. That will change the course of your life as well. Not in an extreme sense, But you might see that you are attracted to different kind of people moving forward, with Pluto moving into your 11th house, the nodes shifting into Libra and Aries here. Lots of different energies that are connected to one, so new connections, new contracts, new opportunities, but in a rather a different environment with different kind of people, hopefully like-minded people. But with the eclipse in your sign, this is about you, about your desires, goals, changes concerning your appearance, new beginnings concerning your goals, ambitions. So really intense energies. Now, on the 21st, we've got Mercury stationing retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st, at which point this retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. And this is here happening in your second house. So overall, during this retrograde phase, keep all your receipts because you might regret some of the purchases that you make. But at the same time, this will be about a great review in regards to your money, income, business idea, your retirement plan. This is when you will also be reviewing any habits, routines, people in your life, especially if you see that there is someone who stands in the way towards your success, or perhaps you are kind of experiencing some internal blockages that stand or act as a blockage towards some kind of personal success. And this is also about generally rethinking your strategy about how you could eliminate these blockages moving forward to experience a greater self-empowerment, especially with that eclipse squaring Pluto. So as per every retrograde, make sure you back up all your files if you're going to be traveling, especially travel connected to work. Then also plan carefully, leave early. With Mercury retrograde, things can happen unexpectedly and forcing you to change your plans in the last minute. So also remain flexible throughout this time. If you are born during Mercury retrograde, then you are likely to have lots of different ideas for yourself, for your life. Definitely take advantage of the energies resonating in the air, especially for those born during Mercury retrograde, because you could surprise yourself. All right, so here we go, Aries. Thank you very much. And let's move into the next sign. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. So here this month, Mars is going to be in Cancer throughout the whole of the month until the second part of May. So you will see that there will be a lot of movement and action. The third house is not only the house of communication, social interactions, our siblings, relatives, but also generally major transits in this house, especially Mars, the planet of action, drive, motivation, indicate movement. So you might see yourself traveling quite a lot to the local areas, visiting family, relatives, friends, whatever it is. For some, there's a reason, or for some reason, you will be traveling, moving quite a lot. Communication and life should take a pretty busy turn throughout this time. Now here we've got Mars still out of bounds this month until the 4th of May. So you may see yourself acting out of the character or saying things that are out of your character at times, unintentionally. So it's something to keep in mind, especially since the third house, as I said, deals with communication. And then with Mars here, sometimes we can say things without thinking them through. So it's also here, it's essential to be aware of your words, to be conscious of the decisions, of opinions that you give about a certain topic, idea, because sometimes you might rush with an idea or a thought, and perhaps you might regret that you didn't think things through before speaking. All right, so here also travel, be careful when driving, because Mars here can also indicate driving faster than you realize than you can. All right, so on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus, into your first house. So this is actually really great because as the weeks go by in April, you will feel more energized because the sun will move into your first house And this indicates that you will be full of vitality. You will want to get yourself out there, because when the sun is in the 12th house, sometimes there's a greater need for withdrawal, contemplation as well. But with the sun moving into Taurus on the 21st, you will feel more energized from that moment in time. But here on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus, so communication and self-expression should become much easier. And also, this is a very special month for Mercury and for you, because this month Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st at 15 degrees of Taurus until the 1st of May, at which point the retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. I'm just looking to the side. There's a really big bumblebee, and I think this is the first one I'm seeing this year. All right, so here we go. Now, here with Mercury in Taurus, of course, there could be some miscommunication. There could be also a difficulty making a solid judgment, a solid decision between the 21st of April and the 1st of May. So think things through, especially if you're going to be committing into something important, especially since this retrograde will occur around the solar eclipse in Aries, or following the solar eclipse in Aries. So overall, here there could be also people that return back into your life, situations, events of some sort. Retrogrades deal with things from the past very often, but also when it comes to something brand new, it doesn't always work in our favor. So this isn't a good time for rushing things through in the final 10 days of the month, because take a rather sober and a stable approach. See the pros and cons of any important decision that you want to make around this time. Keep all your receipts. And overall here, don't take things too personally, but communication could be a bit of a challenge here in the final days of the month, especially since Mars is in your 3rd house. All right, so here we go. Keep this in mind. And if you feel like something is really bothering you or someone, do something soothing, relaxing, because that's what Taurus likes. Taurus likes stability. Taurus likes harmony. Taurus was ruled by Venus. So really, if you feel tense, then do something relaxing, soothing, like even taking a walk out into the woods or in the park. All right, so on the 6th, there's a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees of Libra. Libra rules your 6th house. So this is quite important, because in April, we are going to begin a brand new cycle of eclipses on Libra and Aries axis. The first one will be in Aries, then in Libra, but this full moon in Libra could be already about something that could also follow up in the months to come. And this is in regards to your health. This is in regards to your everyday routine, work, the service that you offer to other people, perhaps your skills, your talents to help others to heal, for example. So this is definitely the theme of this full moon. This full moon could be also about a major situation concerning your health coming to light. Perhaps you're recovering from a surgery, and this could be a peak of the healing process. And post this full moon, you should be able to heal in a more straightforward way. Now, a full moon is not good. It's not a good time for having any major treatment surgeries, because this can increase bruising or blood loss. I'm not a medical astrologer, but here I enjoy a bit of medical astrology, so just kind of giving you some tips here. But overall here, there's a greater focus on your health, well-being, perhaps on changing your routine, on changing your lifestyle, because here now Saturn is in Pisces since the 7th of March. And those people, especially who are born in late 50s, throughout 60s and early 70s, will have at least one planet, if not 2 to 3, in Virgo, and that would be Uranus and Pluto, perhaps also Mars or Sun, whatever it is here. Saturn will oppose these natal placements, and here this could perhaps cause some health or well-being related issue. As per the opposition from Saturn, Saturn can lower our vitality. So here this full moon and generally the eclipses on Aries and Libra axis, which begin in April, they are very much connected to improving your lifestyle if you haven't already. This is a time when you will think about implementing healthy habits in your daily, weekly, or monthly routine. Perhaps you'll start to exercise, or perhaps you may start dancing or eating differently to change your dietary habits. I think this is really crucial, especially here if you've got any placements in the sign of Virgo, because Saturn in the next 3 years will oppose these placements, and it could decrease your energy or vitality. So it's essential to also pay attention to what you put inside your body, to how you generally maintain that lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. What can you do to improve your lifestyle if you're not satisfied with the current life scenario? All right, so here we go. Now on the 11th, Venus will be in Gemini until the end of the month. Venus in Gemini is versatile. Venus in Gemini likes spontaneity, but also this is your second house. So first of all, your taste might become more expensive. You might be attracted to either things of value, pretty much like with Venus in the second house. Often we pay attention, we want things of value, things that mean something. But on the other hand, for some Taurians, this could be also about you wanting to buy perhaps some new clothes, jewelry, beauty products. So you might be really craving to get these things and to pamper yourself. Venus is your chart ruler in the second. There is this need for just going shopping. There is this need for spending money. So you will have to also take control of your money spending habits throughout this period, because here you might have this really strong stimulation for buying things, for spending money. Now, with Mercury being retrograde, the ruler of your second house from the 21st, also this is especially when you have to be mindful, because Venus will be still in your second house and Mercury will be retrograde, so you might not be thinking clearly about your decisions when it comes to purchases. So it's also essential to think things through, perhaps to keep your receipts. All right, but overall with Venus, this is also a fruitful time for finances. So perhaps if you have your own business, you might see that things are moving really well for you and you've got more sales or perhaps new clients of some sort. This could be also a time when you get gifts, receive gifts, and you are appreciated for your skills and talents by other people. All right, so Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you might be acting out of the character. Perhaps you might want to change something in your appearance, in your look, in your style, buy something unusual. So it's also to kind of keep in mind. Now on the 19th, 20th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. So I told you that we would begin the eclipses season in April, and this is when this happens. On the 19th, 20th, we are going to have this eclipse. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of new beginnings, the initiation. So you may see yourself starting something brand new. And this could be very much connected to your health, to your mental health, a new routine, a new habit. So whatever it is that could improve your lifestyle, whatever it is that could help you to move forward into a healthier, into a better future. This is happening very close to your first house cusp. So this also influences your own persona, your own identity. So this is a time when you might want to reinvent yourself in some way. Perhaps you are starting something brand new. This eclipse will square Pluto in Aquarius at this point. And this indicates that there could be an obstacle, something standing in a way. And this could be as simple as perhaps you experiencing some internal fears, internal emotions, battles that you will have to overcome in order to perhaps start this new phase in your life, because this could be also in regards to a new job, a new business, a new career opportunity. Now, at the same time, perhaps something or someone may not seem as they seemed before. So perhaps it could be about you seeing true colors of a situation, of a person in your life. And here, perhaps this is also about making this important decision, whether you want to carry on with this idea project, or whether you want to modify it, or whether you want to do it independently, perhaps. So I'm just giving you a few ideas because you will know best how this will play out in your life. But with the anaretic degree, 29 degree, there is this feeling of urgency, something happening now or never. You might be impatient as well, very impatient about something that is about to emerge. All right, so we will explore these energies further closer to the day. And now let's see it. On the 21st, we've got Mercury retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus. And then until the 1st of May, it will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So during this time, you might experience communication dilemmas. There could be some, generally, if you're going to be signing an important documents, which I would suggest not to, because overall, if whatever you do during Mercury retrograde, even if it works out, it might not show the desired outcomes. So just to give you an example, if you buy a car or a house, or rent a house even during Mercury retrograde, overall there could be things like some setbacks along the way. Perhaps the house might require lots of renovations and they would take forever to take off, to be completed. Perhaps there could be some issues with plumbing, when it comes to rental. When it comes to buying a car during Mercury retrograde, you might receive it at a different day than expected. Perhaps you might realize that they don't have the color that you requested. So generally things just are frustrating. That things that are started during Mercury retrograde could create frustrating outcomes, results. So if you can think things through rather than perhaps commit to anything serious, important throughout this retrograde. But also communication could be a bit of a struggle. Right, so here we go, Taurus. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Geminis, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. So here this month, Mars is in Cancer in your second house, and it will remain throughout April until the second part of May. And this indicates that you might be dealing with lots of outgoings. When Mars is in the second, often there's a lot generally to cover when it comes to some fees, holiday clubs, renovations. Generally, things could be also breaking, and you might have to replace your fridge, your dishwasher, your washing machine, whatever it is. With Mars in the second house, we have some financial obligations to cover more than usual. So lots of outgoings and money just, you might see that your money is just flowing out from your bank account pretty quickly. So this is a month to really keep track of your outgoings, because you might also have a strong desire to buy things of beauty, buy things for your home, or so new objects. And overall, there could be this impulse spending. This is also very much the case. Now, on a different level, with Mars in the second house, in the sphere of income, money, finances, you might be, especially if you work in the sales industry, you might become even quite aggressive, impulsive when it comes to money and sales, trying to sell, negotiate, things like this. There is this lot of willpower and very dynamic energy that comes into play. Now here, Mars is still out of bounds until the 4th of May, so you might also act out of the character, or perhaps you might want to get an object that is slightly unusual and different from your usual taste throughout this transit. And on the 3rd, Mercury will enter Taurus until the end of the month. And here, throughout June, here Mercury will remain in Taurus. The reason for that is because on the 21st, Mercury will station retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus until the 1st of May, at which point Mercury will station direct at 11 degrees of Taurus. So that's your 12th house. So here with Mercury in the 12th house, often we feel misunderstood. Often we feel like we are not being heard. And this can result in the need for withdrawal, in the need for becoming an introvert, even temporarily, keeping things to yourself. Perhaps you might feel more secretive, and generally there could be a lot of thoughts going through your mind, but you won't have this need or a strong need to get them out. You might want to keep them to yourself. So lots of reevaluations and the need to review your life, your goals, your life achievements, for example. And this is a great time for writers, because the 12th house is extremely creative. And in the 12th house, the ideas and the dreams, they are vivid. They are like out of this world. So if you are a writer, a creator, then here you will have lots of different ideas and you'll be very, very creative. Now, at the end of the month, you might experience some creative blockages unless you are born during Mercury retrograde, in which case you might feel extremely creative throughout that time. Right, so here on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees of Libra. That's your 5th house, a full moon in Libra. We will have an eclipse in Aries a couple of weeks later, and we will begin the new eclipses series on Aries and Libra axis, which will last until early 2025. This is your 5th and 11th house, and I feel like many Geminis and Sagittarius rising will become very broody. You might see yourself talking about children, teaching young audience. Now, so that's on a side note here, but overall with this full moon, something connected to self-expression, something that is connected to creativity or your own business, romance, children, conception is coming into light. Now, during a full moon, the sun and the moon are in opposition. Nothing can be hidden when the moon is fully illuminated and bright. So the emotions are intensified. We can suddenly find out some secrets about something or someone. If someone has been gossiping about you, you might also find out pretty suddenly and unexpectedly. But overall here, this full moon is about either a completion of some important project, a highlight of some important events. This could be when you might feel like you want to launch your business, because a full moon is about releasing the energy. So if you've been working on some new idea, project, whatever it is, then you might want to get it out into the universe, so to speak, but you might want to launch it. This is also about your romantic side of life, and at this point you might decide whether you want to move forward, whether you want to end it. Perhaps you might be planning a new chapter for yourself and your romantic partner, especially since this full moon's dispositor or ruler, if you will, is Venus, and Venus is conjunct or in a close proximity to Uranus. So there's an element of surprise, some surprising news, surprising announcement, or perhaps a change of mind direction as well. All right, so that's at 16 degrees of Libra. On the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, into your sign. So this is fantastic because with Venus in your sign, you feel in love. You are in love with being in love. And you make a great impression on others. You get compliments. You feel good within your body, within your skin. And overall, you want to pamper yourself and you pay more attention into your appearance, into your look, into your hair, into your hairstyle. So lots of beautiful energies, and overall, there is this beautiful and charming aura surrounded around you with that Venusian energy. So beautiful, beautiful energies for you. And here Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you might want to make some changes into your appearance, or Perhaps this could be about a new idea that you may have for yourself, a new project. Now, on the 19th, 20th, there is a solar eclipse in Aries, so the first eclipse in this new series at 29 degrees, an anoretic degree. So there is this feeling of urgency, impatient energy, something happening, perhaps you wanting to initiate something very quickly. Perhaps you feel like you're running out of time as well. So there is this feeling of urgency, impatience as well, impatient energy that is activating your sphere of friendship. So overall, this is activating your 12th house as well of spirituality, and you might be moving away from some addictions and negative habits. But at the same time, as with every eclipse, it's not just about one single eclipse. It doesn't make sense to look at it this way. It's about the whole series of eclipses. And with these eclipses on Aries and Libra axis, you will be changing your social circle. You will be attracting new people into your life, and you will be involved in new social situations. And at the same time, you will be closing some chapters, ending some friendships, leaving some groups, and also you will be starting new hobbies. Some people might be Geminis, might be also broody, so this could be about conception, having children, planning a life with a child potentially, and a new business idea might be on your mind as well, a new project. But overall, with the North Node in Aries, moving here in a few months, this is when the North Node will attract people into your life who will change the course of your life, who will realign you and help you to stay on track and to fulfill your purpose. That's the North Node. With the South Node being in the 5th and the eclipses in the 5th, this is where you have to put more effort. So that's the children, conception, romance, your own business. This is when you have to put more effort. The universe doesn't support this area as much as the area of groups and friendships. So the social life will be very active. But here you have to put more effort when it comes to the opposing house. All right, so there's a square to Pluto as well, this eclipse. So this is coming from your 9th house. So perhaps someone could stand in the way towards your new goals, new idea, an obstacle. This could be about your internal blockages, fears that you will have to overcome. Perhaps this could be in regards to, well, if this is about relocating, or if this is about some legal paperwork, working abroad, perhaps you will have to organize your visa and passport, sort out the immigration paperwork first. Or perhaps if you want to launch even a new idea, a new business, this will also require you to perhaps learn new skills, and as I said, overcome some internal setbacks, blockages, whatever it is. But here it looks like you're going to start a new friendship very soon, or perhaps joining a new group of some sort. Some of your goals and dreams may come into fruition as well in the next 6 months. Now, on the 21st, Mercury will station retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees until May the 1st at 11 degrees. This will be over, and this indicates that basically this is happening in your 12th house. So first of all, there could be some internal blockages. This is about generally reviewing some of your habits and addictions. Anything that also affects your sleep. So this could be, see you post this retrograde, you might find a way to establish a healthier sleeping routine for yourself, or for someone else, for your partner, for your child. But this is very much connected to this, either the sleeping routine. Perhaps you want to quit smoking, quit drinking. Then this could also see you reviewing, reassessing how you can possibly achieve this. Now, with the 12th house also, this is also about perhaps you might be reviewing or editing an important book that you're writing, an important piece of art, for example. Your dreams could be scattered all over the place throughout this time, but this is generally about reviewing your life achievements, your goals as well this year, because when Mercury moves into Gemini in June, then you will have a greater or a clearer sense of where is it that you stand with your life, where is it that you want to be in the next few months and moving forward. All right, so here we go, Geminis. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Cancers, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. And here this month, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries, and of course, Mercury will station retrograde in your friendship zone. But before we get there, Mars is in Cancer throughout the whole of the month. Mars was in Gemini for about 7 to 8 months. And last month in March, it moved into your sign, into Cancer. So with Mars in Cancer, here you direct your energy into carrying on or perhaps moving on with anything that perhaps was delayed on hold in the last few months. Because with Mercury in Gemini in your 12th house, there could have been setbacks, there could have been lack of motivation, lack of energy at times, perhaps some delays as well. But with Mars moving into Cancer, or having moved into Cancer in March, and it will stay here throughout April until the second part of May, you will see that life will take a very different turn. Things will be moving very quickly for you, and there will be lots of movement, and you will be taking action. You'll be taking charge of your life. So lots of things happening, especially things that you've been wanting to achieve, but you didn't have the courage, you didn't have the resources, the time. Now with Mars in your sign, you will want to make this happen. Whatever it is, a project, an idea, whatever it is, you want to take charge of your life and move forward, take action, so to speak. Now, at the same time, Mars is still out of bounds until May the 4th. So this indicates that you may act out of the ordinary, out of the character throughout this time, specifically because Mars is in your sign. So perhaps you might surprise yourself with some ideas you might have for yourself, for your life, or perhaps this could be about you taking risks in situations where perhaps you would act differently in different circumstances otherwise. All right, so on the 3rd, we've got Mercury moving into Taurus. That's your 11th house. So with Mercury in Taurus throughout the whole of the month, there will be lots of interactions with others, meetups, group, perhaps events, group activities of some sort. You might also enjoy some social events throughout this time. This is also about you thinking about some of your goals, dreams, wishes, and perhaps you might see yourself creating a vision map. But overall, this is a busy time when you will be interacting with others. You might be busy on social media. And Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st of April until the 1st of May. And this retrograde will begin at 15 degrees of Taurus. It will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So, as you can see, there's a lot happening here also in your friendship zone this month. You might see that some friends friends you haven't seen or spoken to for quite a while, they might return back into your life. So you might bump into someone you haven't seen for ages, somewhere in the shop, in the shopping mall, for example, or perhaps it could be that you reconnect on social media or you text each other. Whatever it is, someone from the past is likely or will likely return into your life in one form or another. This is also about perhaps miscommunication or issues that may occur in your friendships, especially in a friendship that is slightly rocky, that perhaps is unhealthy. And during this Mercury retrograde, you might see the true colors of a certain friendship in your life. This is also when you might feel like you're not being heard or misunderstood by some people in your life. Overall, with Mercury retrograde, there could be also some issue that you experienced with someone in the past. Now, these issues might also come into light, or perhaps they might be triggered in a conversation. and they might become alive again. So you might have to also face some issues, dilemmas with a friend. Perhaps this could also mean the end of a friendship, since we also have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio coming up on the 5th, and then we've got another one in October in Taurus in your 11th house. So so that could be also this Mercury retrograde could be connected to that eclipse that will occur either in May or in October, because in May the Sun will be in your 11th house as well. So with the lunar eclipse, it's not just about one area activated, it's about two areas that are in opposition to one another. All right, so we've got full moon in Libra happening on the 6th at 16 degrees of Libra. That's your 4th house. So here a matter concerning your home comes into light. This could be in regards to a renovation, a relocation, or perhaps this could be about a family gathering. Whatever it is, something comes into light, something needs your attention. Perhaps a project that you've been planning for quite some time regarding your home might finally take off. Now with the 4th house, this is also about some issue that has been kind of going on in your family circle. This is also when you might become more aware of this issue, of this problem. This issue might become more apparent, for example. And during this time, you will have to perhaps take a slightly different approach or a new approach to resolve this issue, this dilemma, or perhaps if you are renovating. This is also a time when you might change your mind or direction, because the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus will be in a close proximity to Uranus. So there's an element of surprise, something happening unexpectedly out of the blue, and this could indicate a change of direction, change of mind in regards to a home or family related matter. Now, on a different level, if you are currently renting, then perhaps this could be in regards to some changes concerning your contract, someone moving in, moving out from the house as well. All right, so on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini. This is your 12th house with Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini in the 12th. This is about keeping some love stories, love affairs secret to yourself. You might become more mysterious about some love aspects of your life. Perhaps if you meet someone throughout this period from the 11th until the end of the month, you might want to keep this to yourself, this relationship. You might not want to tell about it to other people, your friends, family, until Venus moves into your 1st house in May. On a different level, Venus in the 12th might also make, especially if it makes some challenging connections, squares in conjunctions, and to oppositions to your natal placements, then this could indicate that perhaps some issues in your love life or even home family dynamics, since Libra rules your 4th house, and or friendships even, that's your 11th house. And here this could indicate perhaps there could be a situation when you might feel unappreciated, or when you might feel like someone doesn't care. And perhaps don't take things too personally throughout this time, because with Venus in the 12th house, there is this perhaps feeling at times that could be kind of created as a result of this transit, when you feel like you're not being appreciated, you're not being heard, or perhaps you're not being supported in some way. Now, perhaps, yes, so perhaps you might feel like you need to rely on yourself throughout this time. And you need to rely on your own resources. So perhaps this could be related to you working on something independently rather than relying on other people's help or resources. Here, this could be also about some charity work, volunteering for some cancers, especially since Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. And during this time, you might have some new ideas that could also involve helping others, doing some volunteering work, charity work, compassion, something to do with compassion and help. But at the same time, this could also see you having a very different taste when it comes to romantic partners or romantic outings. Now, on the 19th, 20th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. With the 29 degree of Aries, this is like having this feeling inside of you of wanting to achieve something or start something quickly, instantly. It's like a now or never feeling that you might experience throughout this time. This is in regards to your career and some long-term goals and plans. Perhaps some of them might be coming to fruition. Perhaps this is about you changing or transforming your goals completely. But at the same time, many Cancers will be starting a new career, a new job prospects, new business. And with this eclipse, we don't just look at this one particular eclipse, even though the energies are quite dynamic, impulsive, impatient. We also look at the whole cycle, and these eclipses will activate your 10th and your 4th house. So many Cancers will be relocating, changing their careers, moving to different departments, or perhaps there could be changes in your organization, new regulations that could affect your job, your organization, your business, perhaps new taxes, and so on. So lots of changes on the career front will be happening here in the next 2.5 years. At the same time, your home will also undergo a major change moving forwards. So here with this eclipse, we look at the whole cycle that will begin in April. So the career and the home will be affected until early 2022. You have already experienced some kind of growth and further developments in the career area, since Jupiter has been staying here since the 20th of December. Now with the eclipses, they will further illuminate this area of life, but this will indicate some major changes, new beginnings. And if this isn't related to a new career, a new job, then perhaps changes in your organization, a relocation, a new job even abroad could be the case, or perhaps a job that involves foreign travel as well, because there's a sense of responsibility when it comes to foreign affairs, or perhaps having to get your immigration paperwork sorted out in the next 3 years as well, with Saturn in the 9th house. With Mercury stationing retrograde on the 21st at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st, and this retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So here, this is your 11th house. So as I mentioned earlier, here with the retrograde, this could be about some situations from the past returning back into your life, especially anything, any confusion, delusion, misunderstandings that occurred in one of your friendships, and if things were left unresolved, then they might come back. They might be triggered through an event or as a result of a conversation, and perhaps this will be a good chance to address any issue there might be in order to resolve it, in order to move this friendship into a healthier phase. At the same time, you'll be reviewing certain friendships in your life. This could be when some people return back into your life. You might bump into someone you haven't seen for ages. You'll be reviewing your goals, your hopes for the future as well. And of course, here as with every Mercury retrograde, it's not a good time for starting anything brand new or for signing an important document. If you have to, then make sure you prepare really, really well, because Mercury retrograde can really twist things around and in the least expected moment. So thank you very much, and let's move to the next sign. Hello Leos, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming month, April 2023. A big month because we've got Mercury stationing retrograde towards the end of the month, and also a solar eclipse in Aries. So we are going to begin a brand new series of eclipses that will last until early 2025. And we start the month with Mercury moving into Taurus, into your 10th house, and Mercury will remain here until the end of the month and throughout June. And Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st of April until the 1st of May. The retrograde will begin at 15 degrees of Taurus and it will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So until the 21st, things should be moving in a pretty straightforward way for you in this area of life. So there could be lots of meetings through Zoom or face to face. There could be lots of documents to complete, projects to work on, lots of communication, phone calls, emails, so lots of paperwork, verbal and written communication and projects. Now, when Mercury stations retrograde on the 21st, things could take a different turn, and from that moment in time, it could be difficult to concentrate, to collect your thoughts, to make solid Judgment. So keep this in mind, because this could be a pretty frustrating time in your career. Miscommunication, perhaps emails going into spam, junk box. So make sure you also check that. In the meantime, make sure you send the email. So check the send box as well if you're sending something important, or perhaps if you are awaiting a reply and it's taking for ages, check if you actually sent that email in the first place to that person, because things could be just happening in a rather unexpected way. Here with Mercury retrograde, make sure you save everything as well, all the important files, documents, projects, because here with Mercury retrograde in Taurus in your 10th house, especially since Uranus is also here, things could just take a different turn when it comes to loss of some important files, or perhaps your computer, electronic device failing to work. So we need to be open or prepared, more specifically, to different kind of scenarios, situations, circumstances taking place when Mercury is retrograde. Now, when it comes to travel, also prepare well, leave early, because there could be traffic, there could be road closures, or perhaps anything that could happening on the road that could make you late for the important appointment or work-related meeting. All right, so here Mars is in Cancer throughout the whole of the month. For you, this is your 12th house. So here Mars will remain here until the second part of May. With Mars in the 12th house, this is a time when you may lack energy at times, when you might have to push forward and kind of push yourself, motivate yourself more often than usual. With Mars in the 12th house, you will work best independently. You can really concentrate well and focus your energies on specific goals, projects, ideas when you work on your own from the privacy of your home independently. Now, working with groups perhaps might not be as fun as usual, because here Mars is in the hidden area of life. Perhaps you are also tired and drained of group or like teamwork, especially since Mars spent in your area of group activities and teamwork almost 8 months. So a lot could have happened in that area of life. Perhaps now you will enjoy working on your own independently. And this could be also about you working on some important project idea concerning a new business idea, or perhaps it could be in regards to something to do with your home and private matters. Here, Mars co-rules your 4th house, and also it rules your anything to do with foreign affairs, life direction, your life philosophy, foreign travel. So you might also see yourself traveling, spending time away from home more often than usual, or perhaps planning some future goals and projects that would involve home improvements, for example. All right, so on the 6th of April, there's a full moon in Libra, and a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in opposition. The moon is fully illuminated, fully visible in the sky. Things become clear. There's a full awareness of whatever it is that is going on. And for you more specifically, this is the 3rd house. And this is quite important because we are going to begin the eclipses on the 20th, 19th of April in the brand new signs. And this is Aries and Libra. Now, first we will have a full moon in Libra, which could be very much about something that will be connected to these eclipses starting this month as well. Generally, with the 3rd house activation, this is about, well, this could be about you launching a new product, a new business, your website, a new course, for example. This could be about you completing a course, completing some important studies that allowed you to improve your skills and talents, for example. This could be also about receiving some important news. This could be about travel as well, getting involved in some new contracts. So this full moon basically could be also about something that you started or you began 6 months ago during the new moon in Libra. This full moon could also show some fruits of those new beginnings, of those new projects, whatever it is that you started 6 months before this full moon. Overall here, this is very much connected to your intellect, to your mind, to studying, learning, and of course, also working on some written project. Now, if you are a writer, or if you are a blogger, or if you want to create your own course for your business, then this full moon could really push you to do something about this idea, to launch something as well. All right, so we've got the Venus, the ruler of this full moon, will be very close to Uranus. So there's an element of something perhaps happening unexpectedly, or perhaps someone else, you receiving some important news suddenly, or announcing something to your friends, or within your community, to people from your community. This could be very much about perhaps even a relocation, for example, travel, career related changes as well, since we've got the eclipses still happening here on the 4th and the 10th, so career and home areas this year. All right, so on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and Gemini, this is your 11th house with Venus in Gemini. This is a fantastic time for your friendships, for socializing, for working with others, especially, well, we've got Mars in your 12th, so as I said, you work really well on your own. But when Venus comes into your 11th house, this will really help you to bring that spark within a group environment. And for some Leo rising, this could mean even a little romance, a little flirt here and there, perhaps, or in general, you might feel flirtatious in group environments. Or perhaps if you go out, you might also see that people that are surrounded around you are really lovely and pleasant. So this could be also about some really interesting social outing, a social event that could inspire you to perhaps start a new project, or take charge of an area of life that lost its spark and purpose, for example, since now Saturn is in your 8th house, and perhaps you want to bring more structure into that area that perhaps doesn't bring much satisfaction anymore. And you want to kind of do something about it, perhaps your creativity, for example, or perhaps you want to improve some habits and move away from some unhealthy habits. All right, so the Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So this indicates that perhaps you might be acting out of the ordinary. You might decide you want to join a new group, start a dance class, set up your own group on Facebook, for example. So there's this element of something that you may decide to do that is out of your character. So you want to take risks, or perhaps you might meet someone that is very unusual and you might really have a lot in common with that person. Now on the 19th, 20th, there's a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees and a solar eclipse in Aries. This is about some major new beginnings happening here in your 9th house, but since this eclipse is happening at such a late degree, and we still have one lunar eclipse in Taurus in October, this indicates that your career life will be also impacted, especially since the North Node is still there. It hasn't shifted into Aries at this point. So we've got some major new beginnings here happening. There is this feeling of now or never, rushing into accomplishing something or launching something. And with this new moon solar eclipse, that will square your Pluto in Aquarius in your 7th house. So at the same time, there is that intensity, that depth and profound energy that basically act as a kind of a setback or a blockage that you will have to overcome. This could be as simple as perhaps you having, or not even simple, but this could be basically about you having to overcome some internal blockage, internal limitation, restriction, some restricting feeling that is blocking your ability to achieve that important milestone in your life, to move forward with a career-related goal. Because this eclipse in solar in Aries really prompts you to get closer to your life mission, to your life direction. So really interesting energies here, and that's what this eclipse basically could be about. This could be about you wanting to launch something that could reach a really large audience on a global scale. this could be about a new career related to travel industry, to law. You might become a lawyer or a judge, or perhaps a coach of some sort, like a life coach or transformative or transformational coach. Or perhaps you might want to study astrology, and this is when you're going to dive deep and expand your knowledge. There's a lot of expansive energy here connected to the ninth house, connected also to the ninth house, and we've got this the 29th anaretic degree. So there is this feeling of wanting to take that risk, but at the same time you're not sure about where is it that you're going. So there is this perhaps feeling that you might experience, the fear of the unknown, so to speak. Now the square to Pluto, this could be about also you seeing someone's true nature. So perhaps whatever you thought about your relationship might no longer be the case. So this could be about some misconceptions that you had about love, about your partner. And this could be a very eye-opening eclipse that could show the true colors. It doesn't have to be your partner, but perhaps someone in your life. And yes, so perhaps, and that person perhaps could act as a blockage towards you wanting to move forward or move closer towards your life mission. Perhaps if you want to realign with your life purpose, there is an obstacle that you will have to first overcome in order to find that fulfillment. And as I said, this isn't the end of the story, because this is just the beginning. So don't lose hope if things don't work out instantly. The eclipse takes around 6 months, or up to 6 months, to be fully activated. So all right, so on the 21st, there is Mercury will station retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees until May the 1st, and the retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So here the Taurus, that's your 10th house. So as I said earlier, with Mercury, the planet that rules our intellect, our mind, communication, our learning abilities, and our will to learn, is in your 10th house. So this could be very much about you wanting to learn and expand your knowledge, improve your skills. There could be lots of meetings on Zoom, face-to-face interviews. But when Mercury stations retrograde, things could take a very different turn. And it could be, you might find it difficult to concentrate, to collect your thoughts, to make a solid judgment. And your analytical mind generally might be also interrupted or disturbed. So the best thing to do is to just take it easy, double check everything. And as I said earlier, if you are awaiting an important email, an important reply, for example, check if you actually send your email in the first place. So check your sent folder, check your spam box throughout this retrograde period, because things could be happening out of your control, basically. Save everything, and perhaps don't take things too personally, because Mercury can really affect the mind and the rational judgment. Now, if you are born during Mercury retrograde, you may find yourself having lots of new ideas and thoughts, and this could be a pretty fruitful time on the other hand. So here we go. We'll probably explore these energies further around the eclipse video. In the meantime, thank you very much, and let's move to the next sign. Hello Virgos, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. So here this month, your ruler will station retrograde in Taurus on the 21st, and we also have a solar eclipse in Aries. So two important events in April. Now Mars is still in Cancer throughout the whole of the month until the second part of May, and Cancer, this is your 11th house. So here with Mars, Mars is the planet connected to our energy, drive, motivation. And with Mars in the 11th house, it looks like there will be a lot going on when it comes to group settings, when it comes to your involvement in teamwork, in group events, or perhaps this could be about some social events that you could be a part of as well. There is a lot of motivation as well that comes with this transit for you, more specifically when it comes to reaching your goals and your hopes for the future. So you feel really ambitious, especially in the first 3 weeks of the month. And you have this strong need to reach some of your goals and milestones. At the same time, there could be some opportunities for some social events. This could be also about becoming a leader of a group, of a project as well. You've got this really good leadership skills when Mars is in your 11th house and you can lead a group. Not necessarily be a part of it, so as a participant, it might not be as enjoyable as a leader. All right, so on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus, where it will remain throughout the rest of April and throughout June. Taurus, this is your 9th house. With Mercury in the 9th house, this could see you doing a lot of learning. So learning, reading, generally there is this hunger for knowledge when Mercury moves into the 9th house. Perhaps you might become interested in learning a new language. This could be also about learning and studying and traveling, perhaps a travel connected to studying or learning something new. Now, on a different level here, this could see you also getting involved in some studies that could be connected to some professional growth and development. Here with Mercury connected also to the paperwork, documents. Perhaps some Virgos will be dealing with some important legal paperwork, legal matters, or alternatively, this could be about a passport application, a visa application. So there is this here basically either a need for learning and absorbing knowledge, or perhaps travel. And in that case, this could be also about getting your passport renewed, or perhaps getting your visa sorted out as well. Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st of April until the 1st of May. And during this time, that will be at 15 degrees of Taurus retrograde, the end of retrograde at 11 degrees of Taurus. So here, the most important days during the retrograde period are the days when a planet stations retrograde and direct. So this is when things happen. There is a shift of energy, shift of direction. And with Mercury retrograde, this could be a really fantastic time for reviewing, reassessing certain aspects of your life connected to the 9th house, or perhaps double check if your passport needs to be renewed, or perhaps your visa. Now, this could be also about you receiving a parcel that perhaps was lost in transit very recently, and it might finally arrive at your address. And this is also in regards to perhaps anything that was delayed. Anything that you dealt with before this retrograde might finally arrive. However, if you sent any important applications during the retrograde, then expect the unexpected, because the documents might get lost in transit. So make sure you've got a tracking number. Make sure you've got the tracking number and you know where this parcel might be. You can keep track, etc. Because it's essential, especially if you're dealing with some important documents, like if you're sending out your passport, for example, then you will want things to be secure. Now, on a different level here, this is also about reconnecting with some people from the past. So you might see that some people might get back in touch with you as well. And here with this retrograde, this is a great time for reviewing, reassessing, not necessarily for starting anything brand new, like a brand new idea. It might be that once Mercury stations direct, you might change your mind. Mercury is your ruler, so whenever Mercury is retrograde, it affects you on a deeper level, in a different way than other signs. You and Gemini, that's your ruler, so you get affected pretty deeply. And often with Mercury retrograde, Virgos or Geminis, they become introverted, or they need a lot of time to think things through, or perhaps there's a lot of contemplation that comes into play, and you have this strong need to reevaluate certain aspects of your life as well. All right, we'll discuss this further on the solar eclipse in Aries. Now, moving forward, we've got on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra, happening at 16 degrees of Libra, and Libra, that's your 2nd house. So with a full moon in the 2nd house, this is about a matter concerning your money situation coming into light. Now, a full moon is when the sun and the moon are in opposition. Things become visible, clear, and the same as the moon. The moon will be bright in the sky, and any issue, any hidden matter, any situation concerning your income situation will become very clear around this full moon. So a full moon in the second house, this could see you making an important purchase. If you've been saving up for something of value, then perhaps you might be able to finally buy it around this full moon. This is also about completions. Perhaps you're completing some important financial plan or project, business plan, and you are ready to launch a new business, a new idea, for example. This could be also about changes concerning your income situation. Perhaps you have this important meeting, conversation with your boss superior regarding your income increase, for example. Now here with this full moon, so yes, this is about your pension as well, your income, your financial stability and security. And this is just the beginning, because later in the month we've got a solar eclipse in Aries in your 8th house, and then in October we will have a solar eclipse in your second house, in your Libra house of money and income. So generally these next 2 years until early 2025, you will undergo major changes in your money sphere, as I mentioned in my previous videos. So here this full moon could be just the beginning, a little taste of what could follow up in the near future for some Virgos. This is in general, this is an opportunity here. This is an opportunity here in the next 2 years to improve your financial situation and to generally get that sense of stability and financial security in your life. This could be a new job. This could be a new business. This could be a new way to save money. This could be a new way to live your life, perhaps in a more simple, more practical way. Or perhaps this could be about you wanting to invest your money in the near future. This could be about inheritance as well, selling, buying, and so on. So we will explore this further around the eclipse in Aries here again. And on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, into your 10th house. So here, Venus in Gemini in your 10th, this is actually really beautiful for your career and for making a good impression on your bosses, superiors, people connected to your organization, people connected to your career life. Now, this is a really great time of some really satisfying opportunities and possibilities that may come your way. Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. And during this time, things could be happening generally in a slightly out of the ordinary way. Perhaps this could be in regards to you making a very, very good impression on your bosses. Perhaps your bosses might treat you differently throughout this time. Perhaps you might be offered a very interesting opportunity out of the blue. So there's this eccentric energy, and perhaps you might even behave differently. You might want to take risks within your career life, or perhaps you might also change your direction, change your plans. There is this element of this eccentric energy that prompts you to do things differently, out of the ordinary, so to speak. Now, there could be some romance going on as well here in your career, in your outside world for some Virgo rising. Now, here on the 19th, 20th, there is a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. This is so-called an anaretic, a critical degree. And when there is something happening at this kind of degree, there is this slightly anxious energy in the air, energy that makes us feel like now or never. So we become impatient, we become slightly restless without a doubt. And this solar eclipse will be in your 8th house. So with this eclipse, you are going to begin a very new and brand new series of eclipses on Aries and Libra axis that will last until early 2025. So as I said earlier, this could see you basically getting involved in a new business, in a new project, perhaps even a side hustle, something that could bring you additional source of income. This could be about you wanting to invest your money. This could be about a new credit card, a loan, a mortgage, money that is not connected to your regular monthly income, but rather money that is connected to some investments, commission, bonuses, or perhaps this could be about a new career connected to accounting, connected to insurance, banking, finance, trading, and so on. Or even counseling, psychology, this kind of careers could be also the case. This is about a big transformation in your life as well, because the 8th house is connected to transformation and generally reinventing oneself, especially when it comes to moving away from some disturbing habits and healthy routines that affect your life, affect your health. At the same time, the 9th house is also slightly activated because the nodes are still in Scorpio and Taurus, and this eclipse is happening so close to Taurus in your 9th house cusp that it will also influence 9th house. So perhaps there is this need for expansion, adventure, spontaneity, and for doing something that will generally open new perspectives for you as well. All right, so now, as I said earlier, on the 21st, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus, so definitely plan carefully if you're going to be traveling, leave early, because with Mercury retrograde in your 9th house, generally there could be some either flight delays or perhaps disruptions, and you have to be flexible and adaptable as well. And if you have to travel to the airport by a bus or by car, then also leave early and check the roads, make sure there are no road works along the way or some accidents that would delay your trip. At the same time, you might see yourself returning back into some books and studies or languages that you learned in the past. You might be also refreshing some of your skills. This is also when you might receive some delayed documents, paperwork, when it comes to some legal matters, passport, visa applications as well. All right, so here we go, Virgos. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Libras, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. So here this month we've got an eclipse, the first eclipse in the brand new series of eclipses on Aries and Libra axis, which will impact you on a deep level moving forward until early 2025. And we also have Mercury stationing retrograde in the sign of Taurus. So here Mars is in Cancer throughout the whole of the month until the second part of May. It entered Cancer at the end of March after spending over 7 months in the sign of Gemini. So long transit now. Mars is in Cancer in your 10th house. So you'll see that there will be a lot happening in your outside world, in your career life. And there is this feisty, dynamic energy. And many Libras will spend lots of time working on some important career-related projects. And you can achieve a lot when Mars is in your 10th house or anywhere Mars is, but for you more specifically, this is your career. So if you were looking to make progress in your career, now would be perfect time because Mars is in Cancer. And we've got these eclipses as well on Aries and Libra starting this month, and the full moon in Libra. So there's a lot of energy that is stimulating growth and development in the area of career. Now, at the same time, many Libras will get involved in some independent projects, perhaps a new business. The reason for that is because Mars is the planet that rules Aries. Aries is the planet connected to independence, individual work, or leadership even. So perhaps some Libras might become leaders, project managers, or leaders of a certain projects. Now, at the same time, you will have this need to take risks. And there's lots of confidence that comes with Mars here, fiery energy, but you will also have to generally maintain a healthy balance between your home life and your career life so that you don't neglect family and home related responsibilities. Because here with Mars in the 10th, there is a lot of energy required in your career, but Mars is also in opposition to your 4th house. So perhaps if you dedicate too many hours, too much energy towards your career, this could impact your family relationships negatively. All right, so on the 3rd, we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Taurus. Taurus is connected to stability, consistency. Taurus is your 8th house. With Mercury here, you might see yourself getting a new loan, sorting out your financial situation and debts. And this is also in regards to any investments. Perhaps some Libras might be also looking into shares and buying some shares, for example. This is also about studying when it comes to careers related to psychology, psychotherapy, counseling, or even finance, accounting, or banking. Now, with Mercury in the 8th house, you are not afraid to talk about taboo or deep topics. You might be drawn into topics related to life after death, or perhaps astrology, life after death, for example. All right, so Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st of the month at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st, and this retrograde will end at 1 degree of Taurus. So what does it mean for you? When Mercury is retrograde, the energies are slow. Things are not moving forward, they are moving backwards. That's why everyone always says that it's a good time for doing things that you started before the retrograde, not necessarily for starting anything brand new. That's not a good time for anything brand new. This is a good time for things that you began before the retrograde. Now, on a different level, here with the retrograde of Mercury, this is a good time for sorting out your financial situation, for repaying your debts, repaying your credit card bill, or perhaps this could be about also reviewing your bank statements, your mortgage application. So generally reviewing, reassessing, reevaluating. RE, so basically add RE to every word and get on with things, because basically if we do something fresh and new, when Mercury stations direct, you might change your mind completely. You might not be attracted to this idea anymore, to this goal. So that's why it's better just to deal with whatever there is at hand instead of starting something completely brand new. Right, so here we've got on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees of Libra, and this is your first house, so here we go. So basically with a full moon in your sign, you will be affected on a deeper level. It's happening here in your sign. So this is something that is connected to your goals, to your life, to your persona, your identity. Physical appearance is also very much emphasized at this time. You become more aware of your age, of your look, and this could prompt you to change something here. But having things done, or especially changing your hair color on a full moon, might not be a good idea, because the color might turn out not what you would expect. The same with having a haircut during Mercury retrograde. So basically, if you want to do something with your hair, perhaps do it either before this full moon or after, but avoid the 21st of April. But other than that, this is about also something that you've been working on or thinking about will come into light. And there's a full awareness, full clarity as well about this situation concerning your persona, your life. And while here with Mars in Cancer, I told you that you'll dedicate lots of energy towards your work. When the full moon arrives on the 6th, this is about you and your goals, your issues, your whatever it is that you perhaps started 6 months ago might also produce some interesting outcomes. Now, a full moon could be also about ending, so you might also see yourself ending something in your life, a project, idea, phase, for example. All right, so here this full moon's dispositor or ruler, if you will, is Venus, and Venus is in a close proximity to Uranus at this time, which indicates that perhaps you might change your mind in regards to something that perhaps you were really sure about. Because Uranus brings sudden unexpected events, and with Uranus involved, the ruler of your chart, and this full moon, this could be about a change of direction, change of mind, or perhaps an opportunity, a surprise, that may also be the case. So we'll explore it further closer to the day. Now let's move forward. On the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini. So for you, this is a big deal because whenever your chart ruler changes signs, this affects you on a deeper level. This also makes you, I think this also kind of changes your mood, your outlook on life, your perspective on life, temporarily, of course, because Venus changes signs pretty much every 4 weeks. So here, more specifically for you, this is the 9th house. Venus in the 9th house. This is great for traveling, for connecting with people from different cultures, backgrounds to yours, for studying, learning. But overall, if you're going to be traveling with between the 11th of April throughout the rest of the month, then you will likely really enjoy this trip. At least some parts of it will definitely stay in your mind. There could be some romance, flirtation in the air. With Venus here also, you're attracted to some experiences that will bring value and meaning into your life. With Venus in the 9th house also, you're attracted to beauty, creativity, travel. And of course, as I said, there could be some romance with someone brand new. Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you might be doing things out of the ordinary. You might also be attracted to very different kind of experiences or people. So you will see how this will play out in your life. But overall, really positive energies that influence your area of foreign affairs, higher learning, and new experiences. On the 19th, 20th of April, there is a solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. Aries, the 29th degree. This is so-called a critical degree, an anaretic degree, which indicates that you may feel like you need to accomplish something, you need to launch something, you need to do something connected to your love life, relationships, contracts. You have to basically deal with it, with the situation, whatever it is connected to your one-to-ones, quickly, instantly. You might feel like you're running out of time, basically, because it's basically a 29th degree, so close to Taurus cusp. So it will also influence your financial area as well. Now, many Libras might be getting into a business partnership. This could be about a new client, a new contract. This could be about a new job as well, because Mars is in your 10th house this month. And many Libras who were unemployed might find a job finally during this time. Perhaps your contract will be renewed. You're staying in the same job, but you're renewing your contract. Perhaps you are a contractor. Now, on a different level, this is also the beginning of something really meaningful for many Libras. This could be basically your change into your approach to love. Perhaps there is someone very influential in your life who's pushing you into a very different direction. Perhaps they want to get you, they want you to get yourself out there. Perhaps this is about changing in your routine. Perhaps a friend convinced you to join a new club or a dance class. But I feel like many Libras will start a relationship, a love relationship during this time. Those of who are single, this is very likely that your status will change with the eclipses. The eclipses accelerate the timeline. They make things happen. You've got Jupiter here as well. And if this isn't related to a relationship, then perhaps this could be about a new job for you, a new contract. Because Mars is in Cancer until the second part of May. But here again, with the lunar eclipse on the 5th in May, that could indicate changes to your income, and the solar eclipse in your 7th. I feel like many Libras could be getting involved in new contracts, new agreements, new business partnerships, new businesses, or perhaps this could be about a new contract or renewal of an existing contract. So generally there is something happening in the one-to-ones, but having said that, this is also about love, relationships, engagements, weddings in the next 2 years, because bear in mind, this isn't just about one little eclipse, it's about the whole series, the whole family of eclipses. And this month in April, we are starting a brand new series, so really exciting times. And yes, and also straight after this eclipse, we've got Mercury that will station retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees. So at the same time, as we've got these eclipses happening, and Mercury will be retrograde. You'll be also reviewing, and you might be also reviewing some important agreements, important partnerships as well. The 8th house also deals with one-to-ones, but those that are quite deep. And yes, so with Mercury retrograde, you will be reviewing, reassessing, and perhaps taking a very different approach to your financial area, your business cards, mortgages, investments, and so on. I will talk about this more during the April horoscopes and during the April videos. All right, so here we go, Libras. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Scorpios, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming month, April 2023, a big month when we begin a new series of eclipses on Aries and Libra axis, and Mercury will station retrograde in Taurus. So Mars, your co-ruler or the traditional ruler, is in Cancer this month. And Cancer, this is your 9th house. So many Scorpios will be dealing with foreign affairs. So any matters concerning legal documents, documents related to immigration. Also, if things were moving slowly, if you've been kind of awaiting some news in regards to an application that you completed or sent out in the last few months, you might finally receive some news. When Mars moves into Cancer, Mars will speed things up for you. And Mars in Cancer connects very well with your Scorpio rising, Scorpio ascendant. So this will also motivate you to take action, to take charge of your life, especially if you felt slightly lost in the last few weeks. This shouldn't be the case once we begin the Aries season, especially with Mars moving into Cancer, because this will definitely here push things forward. Now, on a different level, this is also here with Mars in Cancer. You might see yourself traveling. Foreign travel is emphasized. Learning, launching something on a global scale, getting yourself, your work, your words out there into the open. You might be launching a business, launching a book, a product. You want to reach a larger audience. You want to learn, expand your knowledge, perhaps improve your skills, professional skills, especially since when Mars leaves Cancer in the second part of May and moves into Leo, at that point, Venus will also move into Leo around June. This will be a really, really fantastic time for your professional life growth and development. So definitely use Mars in Cancer transit for getting yourself out there and for working on any international projects or projects that perhaps are about reaching a larger audience, about launching something, about expanding your prospects, your possibilities. Right, so that's Mars in Cancer. Mars is still out of bounds until the 4th of May, so you might also see yourself acting out of the ordinary, taking risks and making decisions perhaps that will surprise you. You will surprise yourself with your confidence, with your assertiveness at times, and so on. Now, on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus. And Mercury will stay in Taurus throughout the whole of the month until probably the end of May, even because Mercury will be retrograde from the 21st of April. And this retrograde will start at 15 degrees of Taurus. It will end on the 1st of May at 11 degrees of Taurus. So here we go. We start the retrograde season as well. And while Mercury is in Taurus, yes, in Taurus, in a direct motion, this is actually very positive for your one-to-ones. So this is a really good time when communication can become really straightforward. It's a good time generally for communicating. So for people who work with clients, with others on one-to-one basis, this is likely to be a very fruitful time when you can communicate, express yourself with more ease. Now, Mercury will oppose your ascendant, so perhaps there could be people at times, especially at the time when Mercury will be in opposition to your ascendant degree and the first house catch, so in the initial phase, and then when it reaches the degree, at which point it will be within an opposition to your ascendant angle, then during these times you might You might see that perhaps someone disagrees with your opinion. Perhaps you have to meet halfway. But other than that, Mercury in the 7th is great for signing contracts, especially during the direct motion, for communicating, for you might go on a therapy, you might seek help from a coach, from someone who will help you to deal with an issue, perhaps even an architect, a graphic design, or an estate agent. So whatever it is, someone, basically this is about one-to-ones. And this is about seeking help from another person who could help you to overcome a certain challenge, reach a certain goal and milestone. And this is the way it could play out in your life. Now, when Mercury stations retrograde on the 21st of April, then during that time there could be miscommunication, and generally communication could be slightly more challenging, slightly more difficult. You might see that perhaps some issues from the past might also return back into your life, especially within the one-to-ones. This could be someone close to your heart, best friend, business partner. Perhaps if there was something that you didn't resolve properly in the past, this issue might become alive, might be triggered by an event throughout the retrograde, by a conversation, by some thoughts, and this would be a good time for taking a more serious approach into this matter so that you can resolve it, and so that it doesn't get triggered again in the future. At the same time, so here, yes, this could be also about some people returning back into your life. You might be also renewing your work contract, renewing your home contracts, for example. Generally, this is about renewing, reassessing, reevaluating your relationships, your close relationships with others as well. You might be returning back into some counseling sessions if you had some in the past, for example. Right, so on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra, and the full moon is when the sun and the moon are in opposition and the moon is fully illuminated. So what does it mean? It means that a matter related to something private in your life will become very clear, very apparent. Now, at the same time, with the full moon in the 12th house, this is often about you ending something. Something is coming to an end conclusion. This is the last house in the astrological chart. So there is this basically need to complete something, to end something, take a different approach, perhaps even because the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus is within a close proximity to Uranus. So perhaps there could be you might change your mind about something that is very private to you. You might change your direction moving forward. Perhaps you might suddenly discover some secret, something that wasn't clear could suddenly become very clear, especially since a full moon brings that full awareness, full clarity. This is also about taking a deeper look at any addictions, any negative habits, routines that you might want to move away from. This is about also fixing your sleeping routine as well. So things become much clearer, and there's a greater awareness and an opportunity for moving away or eliminating any blockages, negative energies as well. Now on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, into your 8th house. So Venus in Gemini, this is actually my placement. And Venus in Gemini in the 8th house. This is a placement that basically is quite lucky when it comes to any money that comes through perhaps investments, any money that comes through perhaps this could be some gains, or perhaps this could be about money that you will receive through any schemes or government schemes. Generally with Venus in your 8th house, there is that luck and abundant energy that comes into light, and some Scorpios might benefit through any bonuses, commissions, or perhaps some government schemes. Now, this is also a good time when you can really connect to other people on a deeper level. That's Scorpio energy, that these deep connections, profound energies, and this is very much the case when Venus is in your 8th house. Now, but also this could be about some financial gains for you, luck in the money area as well. Now with Venus here, Venus brings positivity, so perhaps you can also bring an area of life that has lost its spark. Then perhaps you could, with Venus in the 8th house, you could bring more life, more harmony, more balance into this area of life. This could be your romantic relationship. This could be your daily routine. Perhaps if life has become overly stagnant and monotonous, perhaps Venus here will also help you to bring some charm, some beauty into this daily life, daily routine, a new idea, a new concept, new routine. And between the 17th of April and the 1st of June, Venus will be out of bounds, which indicates that you might act out of the character. You might be attracted to different kind of people. You might act differently, or perhaps you might be more experimental. In your intimate relationship, perhaps you might want to take some risks as well. You might be attracted also to different kind of careers, even for some people who are seeking employment or are trying to find a purpose or something to do. Perhaps you might be attracted to working for an insurance company, or perhaps you might be attracted to healing as well, working in the healing industry to help others, to heal others, to help them overcome some difficult issues, dilemmas. Now, on the 19th, 20th, there is a solar eclipse in Aries, and this solar eclipse is happening at 29 degrees, so an anaretic degree, a critical degree, indicates that there is this impatient energy and this need for perhaps accomplishing something quickly. And it's like a now or never feeling. Now, here at this point, the nodes are still in Scorpio and Taurus. So there's also a little bit of a flavor connected to the seventh house, one-to-ones or new connections. So perhaps this eclipse could attract some new people, some new individuals to your life who could help you to reach a certain goal or milestone. Because when we look at these eclipses, it's a new series of eclipses, and these eclipses on the 6th and the 12th house will open a lot of new opportunities for you when it comes to new work environment, new job prospects, new business, but there will be also new people that enter your life path. And with these people, you will be able to create new opportunities for yourself and as a group as well. So these are really interesting energies moving forward, because next year we'll have the first eclipse on Pisces and Virgo axis, and these will also activate moving forward your ability to work within groups, to be a better team player and so on. And at this point, Aries and Libra eclipses, this is about reinventing your daily routine. This is about putting more attention into your health. And you might see that you see yourself wanting to improve your daily habits. And this could be also about seeking alternative ways or alternative products to maintain a healthier lifestyle even. So many Scorpios will change their lifestyle moving forward. This could be about expanding your business, or perhaps taking a different approach to your work environment, to your coworkers. At the same time, it feels like you will be healing something within your body, within you, that has been affecting you for years, for a long time. Perhaps you didn't have courage to approach this matter, but these eclipses on the 6th and the 12th house, and still Chiron is still here in Aries for quite some time. This is about healing, you healing the body yourself. At the same time, I feel like many Scorpios will also be healing, helping others to heal. So perhaps the experiences of this eclipse, of the now, of also the Jupiter and Chiron conjunction, which we had in the middle of March, will also open new prospects, will open your mind, change your mindset, and generally make you want to help others to heal at the same time moving forward. But I feel like there's also this need to heal, improve your health, lifestyle, and this is also when new people will enter your life. People that basically will help you to live a more fulfilling life moving forward. So really interesting energies, which I will explore here in April. And straight after this eclipse, we've got Mercury stationing retrograde. So you will be also reviewing these one-to-ones, reviewing your most intimate relationship as well, any contracts that you have with other people. And there will be lots of thoughts going on. And perhaps this retrograde will also make you think deeply about what sort of connections you want in your life moving forward. Perhaps there is a need to end a friendship. Perhaps there are people in your life that affect your well-being, stand in the way towards your success, fulfillment. And I feel like this retrograde will also stimulate lots of thoughts and make you reevaluate the closest relationships in your life. All right, so here we go, Scorpios. Well, I'll talk more about this in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to the horoscope for April 2023. So here this month, Mars is in Cancer throughout the whole of the month. Mars moved into Cancer at the end of March, and for you this is your 8th house. So generally when Mars is in the financial houses, so that's the 2nd, the 8th, often we need to deal with expenses, outgoings, and this could be related to your children. Aries rules your 5th house, and when Mars, or the ruler of the 5th, is in the 8th, then there could be expenses to cover, fees, clubs, childcare, whatever it is. This could be very much related to your children. Now, at the same time, you might be also dealing with some expenses that are connected to perhaps holiday rentals or perhaps your hobbies. And generally, there could be also this need for living a more carefree lifestyle, perhaps. And this would perhaps also involve some additional fees and outgoings. Now, at the same time, with Mars in the 8th house, what your credit card, your spendings, because there could be quite a lot going on. So it's really essential to keep track of your outgoings, of your spendings as well. Any holiday fees could be also the case here, since Mars co-rules your 12th house. And the 12th house is very much connected also to foreign places. All right, so here with that in mind, also you might have this need here with Mars in the 8th house in Cancer to also generally do things or spend money on things that will also help you to relax your mind, help you with any mental health issues, or anything to do with your private life, private matters as well. All right, so here with, yes, we've got Mercury moving into Taurus on the 3rd of April, and Mercury will remain in Taurus throughout the whole of the month. So here with Mercury in your 6th house, so what does it mean? Here, Mercury is connected to our intellect, our mind, rational thinking, communication. So you might have this strong interest to reorganize your daily life, daily schedule. There could be new projects going on. Generally, Mercury is connected to movement as well, so travel, connected to your work. But it seems like your life, your daily life will really pick up, and there will be quite a lot going on. Lots of action and movement, the need for becoming more organized, the need to generally get on with things at hand. But at the same time, there's likely to be also a greater interest in health, well-being, and also you might see yourself having medical checkups or appointments throughout this time. Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st at 15 degrees of Taurus until the 1st of May. And the retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So during this time, you'll be reviewing and reassessing your work situation, your work environment, your relationship with your coworkers. It might be that some people from the past connected to your work, for example, might return back into your life. You might bump into them, you might see them, they might get in touch through LinkedIn. So whatever the scenario here, you take a deeper look at your work situation, at your employment. Perhaps you'll be reassessing and generally deciding whether you're satisfied with the current work situation, whether something needs to change moving forward. But at the same time here, many Sagittarius rising might be also working from home this year moving forward. Saturn, the planet traditionally connected to career and worldly achievements, events, is in your 4th house for the next 3 years. So perhaps you are going to be establishing a home office at some point in the near future. So this could be the case for some Sagittarius rising. But at the same time here with Mercury retrograde, this is also about changing your diet, some habits, and some health related habits as well. So there is this perhaps need that you might have to improve your lifestyle, and especially since Saturn this year especially will square your ascendant sign. So this could basically make you kind of have low energy every now and then. And here with Mercury retrograde, this perhaps would be a good time for reviewing your well-being, your diet, and your lifestyle as well. Now, here on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees. So here, Libra, this is your 11th house. And with the full moon, this is when the sun and the moon are in opposition. Things become clear. There's a greater awareness as well. This could be related to you even discovering some secrets about a friend, about something that perhaps was said about you. That's what happened to me on the full moon in Virgo in my 11th house. I accidentally discovered that a friend wasn't really honest with me, and that was actually quite painful. But a full moon basically gives us this full clarity, and often things, secrets come to the surface, and it can be quite shocking at first. So I hope this isn't the case for you, but this could be. At the same time, perhaps this could be about someone, a friend needing your support, your help. This could be also about you leaving a group, and with this full moon, since full moons are about endings and conclusions, perhaps you will be completing some important team projects at this point. But this is also about some of your goals and dreams coming to fruition, even because with a full moon, this is when things become clear. But at the same time, if you've been working on something important, meaningful in the last 6 months, then perhaps with this full moon in your 11th house of dreams and hopes, things could finally take off, and you might see some really interesting and fruitful, satisfying outcomes and results. The ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus will be in a close proximity to Uranus, so there is this element of surprise, and whatever happens around this full moon, it could basically give you some satisfying outcomes at the end. So that's a little bit about this full moon. This full moon will connect well with your Sagittarius ascendant that by a sextile. So you are likely to get along with these energies pretty well. Now, on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and Venus will remain here throughout the whole of the month. And with Venus in Gemini, that's your 7th house. So this should be really, really fruitful time for your one-to-ones. When Venus comes into the 7th house, suddenly our relationships with other people in general become really harmonious, because Venus really helps to balance out the energies. So that's really great. I'm currently going through this transit, and it's quite interesting because even people who perhaps wouldn't notice me at the school drop-off, they smiled at me, so I was quite surprised. So I thought, oh, it must be Venus in the 7th house, maybe. People notice you. People, perhaps you have this, for some reason you attract good energies, or you release good energies in one-to-ones, for example. But other than that, here with Venus also, this is when a friend might also perhaps invite you out to a social event, or perhaps have a good influence on you in some way, perhaps recommend a dance class, or generally share some good news for you that could also generally have a good influence on you. So generally there could be someone in your life throughout this transit who could positively influence your own life, or perhaps your own decisions here. So generally you benefit from one-to-ones. Venus will be retrograde not retrograde, sorry. The Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you might also meet some interesting individuals who are slightly different from the ordinary, so to speak. So this could be a pretty interesting time, or perhaps you might have some interesting or unusual experiences with your friends. So you have this perhaps stimulation for a bit of eccentricity, in your social life, in your one-to-ones. But at the same time, perhaps someone might also invite you to some unusual event, for example. So there's this element of something unusual, different, unique, original that comes with Venus out of bounds. And this could even mean a very interesting date that you may go on. So lots of different ideas here, but yeah, something to kind of keep in mind. But here on the 19th, 20th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees of Aries. So with an anaretic critical degree of an eclipse, there is often a feeling of having to achieve something or accomplish something immediately. So you might feel slightly impatient around this time, wanting to move forward with a certain goal, idea, whatever it is that is on your mind. And this solar eclipse will activate your fifth and the sixth house because it's basically on the cusp of Aries and Taurus, and also the nodes are still in Taurus and Scorpio. So there is that influence towards the other house as well. It's a solar eclipse, so the solar eclipse will be about some new beginnings, major new beginnings, and this is basically your fifth house. So this could be, and the sixth house as well to a certain degree. But this could be basically about your work, your projects, your business, a new business idea, a new hobby, and need to generally change your lifestyle as well if you feel like things have been overly stagnant, monotonous, even though you like that stability in your daily life and structure. But at the same time, perhaps you need a little bit of change of sceneries, change of environment, perhaps a new hobby or a new interest might also be of your interest. But there is this, I feel like you have this need to do something that will be of an expansive nature, something that will perhaps increase a little bit of your adrenaline, something that will perhaps allow you to expand your connections, or something that will generally be of something that will generally open some new prospects, new possibilities for you. So this is this new moon solar eclipse. For many Sagittarius rising, this could be also when you will be planning having a family or a child. So children could be also on your mind. You might be having these conversations regarding children. This could be also about becoming a teacher, working with young audience, coaching them, influencing them in a positive way. And also for many Sagittarius, this could be also, well, not necessarily now, but perhaps in the next 3 years, because with the eclipses, we look at the whole cycle, and this cycle will last until early 2025. So perhaps in the next 2 years, this could be also when you attract a very interesting individual into your life in a romantic sense. So romance is also very much emphasized here throughout this time. And I feel like new people will also enter your life step by step, because you've got these nodes coming along. And when the south node is in Libra, this could be also when things from that happened around 19 years ago with someone in your life might become also a theme of this current or upcoming cycle of the transit of the south node in Libra, which I will explore in a couple of months. Now here we've got this solar eclipse will square Pluto, so at the same time something might become suddenly apparent, something that perhaps seemed different. And this could be in regards to a situation that you're currently dealing with. This could be about a person in your life. So something or someone might reveal their true colors. There could be also an obstacle that you may have to overcome, or perhaps a difficult conversation, or perhaps you may have to fill up some important documents, paperwork, in order to move forward, to take this step forward, and reach that goal, milestone, whatever it is that you will be working on around this eclipse. And after this eclipse, we will have Mercury that will station retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st. So you will be also reviewing, reassessing your work situation, your health, your well-being. And this is, I think this is really essential now with Saturn in Pisces. Here, Saturn in Pisces squaring your ascendant. I think it's essential, especially since you still have that lunar eclipse in October in the sign of Taurus. So basically, it's vital that you really take a deeper look at your lifestyle. And if there are habits that are unhealthy, perhaps it will be a good time for taking charge of your life and changing something for the better. All right, so here we go, Sagittarius. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello Capricorns, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming month, April 2023. So here another big month with the eclipses and starting in April, and also we are going to have Mercury stationing retrograde on the 21st. So lots of another big month basically. And this month we also have Mars. Mars is now in Cancer since the final days of March, and Mars will remain in Cancer until the second part of May. So Mars in Cancer is not the strongest. It's not a good placement for Mars. Mars is much happier in your sign in Capricorn, where it is exalted. In Cancer, the energies of Mars are slightly weak. And overall here, Mars is connected to independence. So here, this transit can increase your need for being independent within your relationship. So it might be that you will prefer to do things on your own, independently, and you will have to basically, I think the compromise might be a little bit of an issue here throughout this time. So I think it's something to definitely be aware of, that Mars is here triggering these one-to-ones throughout April and May. And what you need is to basically establish harmony, balance, or seek that harmony and balance in your relationships, one-to-ones. But also here, Mars, on the other hand, is connected to passion, desire. So this can definitely also play in a way that the passion within your relationship could really take a very different turn throughout this time, especially if things haven't been going well. You will see that Mars will bring that spark back, but on the other hand, there could be also quite a lot of dynamic and impulsive energy at times. So it's something to definitely control. And as always, if you feel like something or someone irritates you within your relationship, take a deep breath and do something physical. So that's how we release the excess of Martian energy on doing something physical. Right, but on the other hand, any projects that you had with your partner that were perhaps taking forever to take off, you will see that things will finally move forward and pick up, because Mars speeds things up. Mars is connected to drive, courage, motivation. So you have that Martian energy to get going and take charge of anything that perhaps was delayed within your relationship or marriage. All right, so or even business partnership doesn't have to be only about love but generally one-to-ones, business partnerships, any contract as well. Perhaps you might see yourself signing contracts, dealing with important documents as well. But at the same time, with Mars opposing your ascendant, you will also attract pretty dynamic individuals into your life. So here, this is something to watch out for as well, especially during some hot, heated debates when you disagree with someone. So kind of avoid conflicting confrontations, perhaps, if possible, or when possible. Now, here on the 3rd of the month, Mercury will move into Taurus, and that's your 5th house. With Mercury in the 5th house, this is really a good transit generally for working on mentally stimulating tasks, activities, hobbies. Your mind is very active and vivid and energized, and it needs and this energy, this mental energy, needs to be released on something creative, writing, reading, playing board games, even doing crosswords. So there is that need for stimulation, mental stimulation. At the same time, you might see yourself really enjoying going to the theater, or perhaps stand-up comedy could be also on your mind. Here, when it comes to dating, with Mercury here in the 5th house, you also still need that communication, two-way communication, but also mentally stimulating conversations. So anything superficial, it's gonna be really, or anything vague or mundane even might be pretty boring at this point. Now, here Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st. and that will be at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st. So here during this retrograde, you will be reviewing, reassessing lots of projects, creative projects, but this is also about freelancing and any of your business. If you have your own business, you might be also reassessing and even restructuring your business, your website, your marketing campaign or advertising campaign, for example. Now, during this time, you might also reconnect with people from the past, especially your romantic partners, or you might bump into them accidentally, or perhaps they might contact you. With the retrograde, this is about reviewing, reassessing, returning into something that you began before the retrograde. Anything brand new will, first of all, require an extra effort, but at the same time, you might see that things are kind of delayed. And if you start something during the retrograde, once the retrograde is over, you might realize that actually you're no longer interested in this idea, in this project. So it's also something to keep in mind, because retrogrades are generally not great for some doing things that are brand new, for new ideas, because our judgment is often clouded. And here with Saturn in your third house at the moment until the year 2026, this is a fantastic time for learning and studying, or perhaps for returning during this retrograde to studies, courses, even online courses that perhaps you started in the past and you didn't get to finish, because often we sign up to online courses, especially if they are self-study courses, and we don't get to finalize them. Saturn in the third house gives you that discipline at this point, and throughout next year and the year 2025, to complete something that you start, especially if it's connected to learning, studying, something that would make you feel more confident as well. All right. Now, on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra happening at 16 degrees of Libra. This is your 10th house. This full moon will square your Capricorn ascendant and any placements you may have in Capricorn. So generally, the energies are could be slightly uncomfortable for some Capricorns, unless you have any important placements in one of the air or fire signs. Then in that case, this full moon will trine or sextile this placement, so it would balance out the energies. But otherwise, a matter concerning your career is coming to light. Nothing can be hidden during a full moon. During a full moon, the moon is bright and things are clear. During a new moon, we plant new seeds and we don't know yet about the outcomes. However, with a full moon, we get the results, the outcomes of our efforts, and we decide whether we want to move forward with them or whether we want to end them. That's why the full moon is a time of endings very often, because we realize that we are not satisfied with a certain situation, idea, relationship, and we end it on a different level. This is often also a time when we decide we want to carry on. We want to give it another chance. And this is when the gestation cycle comes along, because basically it's from the new moon to the first quarter, and then there is a full moon. And then during that last quarter moon, if you haven't dropped the project during a full moon, this is when you make this major decision, whether you stick to with this idea, whether you want to just drop it. But at the point of this full moon, things are very clear. There's this full awareness. You might become very popular at your work. This could be a time of a recognition, even a promotion, since Pluto is now here at this point in your second house, a transformation. It connects by a trine to your 10th house. Perhaps you're being recognized in some big way for your work, for your hard work, or perhaps you're making some important decisions in regards to your career. So whatever the scenario here, the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus is in a close proximity to Uranus. So there could be some unexpected surprise, something pleasant but maybe shocking, connected to your career. Some news, some new opportunities. So definitely keep that in mind. And And on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and here Venus in Gemini is versatile, and Venus in Gemini wants to, well, first of all, Gemini is your sixth house. So with Venus in the sixth house in Gemini, you need a little bit of versatility in your daily life. And I think this shouldn't be a problem because Gemini is a sign of duality, the sign connected to movement. So you like that busy daily routine, and perhaps monotony wouldn't satisfy you. You don't like that stagnant and monotonous routine. But with Venus here, you want a bit of fun, pleasure, creativity in your daily life. With Venus in the sixth house, and at that point, Mercury, throughout the final days of the month, will be retrograde. It might be difficult to be self-disciplined. It might be difficult to motivate yourself. So basically, with Venus in Gemini and then Mercury retrograde from the 21st, you will have to implement a little bit of fun into your daily life in order for you to be able to get on with the mundane tasks, responsibilities, in order to remain consistent and organized. And with Venus in the sixth also, you will crave sugary things, cakes, sweet things. That's also very much connected to Venus. So this is also here, it's essential to control your sugar intake if you feel like you just can't stop eating sweet things, if you are sugar and sweet conscious especially. All right, but overall there could be also romance in the air, romance going on with your someone from your work. And then when Mercury stations retrograde in your fifth house, then perhaps someone could return back into your life for some people. Or you might be going on a date with someone you've been kind of dating for quite some time in the past, but the contract, perhaps your contact dissolved, and now with the retrograde and Venus in the sixth, things could suddenly just become alive. Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you will be more perhaps eccentric or more unique, or your taste could change when it comes to your daily routine, because that's in your sixth house, or perhaps there could be a little romance going on at your work, or you might feel more flirtatious. Generally, you're going out of your comfort zone. You have this need to get out of your comfort zone, to take little risks here and there, and perhaps you might feel like doing something different as well, living a more carefree lifestyle, so to speak. Now, on the 19th, 20th, we got a solar eclipse in Aries. A solar eclipse is about new beginnings, and here, this is happening at 29 degrees of Aries. We have a new moon on the 21st at 0 degrees of Aries back in March. And now on the 19th, 20th, we've got a solar eclipse in Aries. So here, Aries is your fourth house. And with the eclipses, we look at the whole cycle. So this is a brand new series of eclipses that will begin here on the 19th, 20th, and it will last for about 2 years. So this is about major upcoming changes that will occur on the home front and also career. So many Capricorn rising will be relocating, moving to a different house, to a different location. Perhaps there will be a family addition as well. Perhaps even major renovations could be going on. At the same time, it could be changes in your organization, and you might be moving to a different apartment. You might be promoted throughout this period. You might change your job, career, or set up your own business, for example. So you will see how this will play out in your life. But overall, Cancer rising are going through major home, family, domestic life, and career-related changes starting in March, April this year until basically 2026. At that point, Saturn will move into your fourth house, so you'll be restructuring also your home. But in the meantime, it looks like you might be moving and relocating, renovating, for example, changing your career, setting up your own business. So lots of different ideas. But at 29 degrees of Aries, this is a critical and erratic degree, which indicates that you might feel like you're running out of time. You have to complete something. now or never. This is kind of like a feeling of a now or never feeling, connected to your home, your own business idea, interest, creative self-expression. Now, there could be some challenges coming from the financial area. Perhaps you don't have enough resources, finances to accomplish this goal, to accomplish this dream. And this could be a challenge for many Capricorns. Actually, the money, the resources, perhaps you want to sell your property, but things are delayed. And you will have to basically overcome a certain challenge, change your plan, change your direction, or perhaps delay some of these goals, dreams temporarily. Now, the eclipse takes around up to 6 months to take off. So it doesn't have to happen on the day of the eclipse, but perhaps throughout April, May, you will be making these major decisions, major plans that are connected to your home, family situation as well. So I'll explore these energies further in April. Now, around this eclipse, also, of course, after on the 21st, Mercury will station retrograde. So you will be reviewing, reassessing. Also, the stability, the financial security and stability in your life, especially since Taurus is naturally connected to money, finances in your 5th house. And this retrograde could generally bring some strong realizations that could help you to make the right decision moving forward. Because Taurus and Capricorn, these are both earth signs, and they connect by a trine. So this retrograde will trine your Capricorn rising sign, which is actually really beneficial, because here you could be reviewing, reassessing your current life situation, but at the same time, you might have come up with some really strong and useful thoughts and ideas. All right, so here we go, Capricorns. Thank you very much, and let's move to the next sign. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming month, April 2023. And this month, Mars is going to be in Cancer, the same as at the end of March. It entered Cancer on the 25th of March, and it will stay here until the second part of May. So quite of a long time, but not as long as when it was in Gemini. Now, here, Mars in Cancer is not the strongest, and here this will be your 6th house. So when Mars is in the 6th house of everyday routine, work, and our duties, responsibilities, things just pick up, and there is a lot going on, lots of movement, lots of action. So here it looks like you'll be very busy throughout April, especially since you also have an eclipse in Aries, and throughout the Aries season there will be lots of energy centered around your 3rd house, and the 3rd house is connected to movement, action, communication. So it seems like April is going to be very active, very vivid, and generally there will be lots of stimulation going on, lots of work and tasks, and perhaps you will have to remember to find some time for rest, because Pluto is now in your sign, in your 1st house. So you're undergoing this huge transformation at the moment, and it's just a short period of time this year, just 2 months, and next year will be much longer. However, regardless of that, Mars in the 6th, Pluto in the 1st, eclipses in the 3rd. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. So remember to find some peaceful time when you can really recharge your energies, because with Mars in the 6th, you can easily overwhelm yourself with the amount of responsibilities, but at the same time you can also burn out easily, and this isn't actually great, because this means that you have to push yourself, motivate yourself. So whatever the scenario, make sure you also remember about self-care, self-love throughout the month of April. Now, on a different level, moving forward, we also have different energies. Now we've got Mercury moving into Taurus on the 3rd of the month, and Mercury will remain here throughout the whole of the month. The reason for that is because Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st of April at 15 degrees until May the 1st, at which point it will station direct at 11 degrees of Taurus. So until the 21st, Mercury will be in a direct motion, and that's your 4th house. So with Mercury, generally the planet of movement, communication, it might indicate for some Aquarius rising that you will be traveling, perhaps traveling to visit your family. Here we are talking about a local travel, a local commute to another town or another county, whatever it is. You might be visiting your family members. There could be family gatherings going on at the same time. You might also receive visitors. This is also about making plans regarding your home. Perhaps this could be about some renovations, perhaps about decluttering, or getting some objects for your home. So whatever the scenario here, there is that need for perhaps becoming more organized at your home. But at the same time, with Mercury in the fourth, you might just have this strong need to read, write, study as well. Now, when Mercury stations retrograde, things will slightly change, because here Mercury retrograde is not good for starting anything brand new. And you know what? I started things during Mercury retrograde because sometimes you get this stimulation, lots of ideas might be going through your mind, especially if you are born during Mercury retrograde like myself. And things just don't usually work out, because when Mercury stations direct, you change your mind and you see things from a different perspective, different light. So definitely keep this in mind, especially if you have some really big idea that would involve making a major purchase, investing your money. Really see the pros and cons and sleep this through, especially if you feel impatient about this idea, project, whatever it is. Now, at the same time, you might be, or perhaps you will be reconnecting with family members, family members generally who you haven't seen for quite some time. Mercury is traditionally connected to siblings as well, relatives, next of kin, friends as well. So you might also have visitors that generally you'll be catching up with, people you haven't seen for quite some time. And with Mercury retrograde, you might also find an object that you lost at your home a while ago, and suddenly it might reappear. How exciting, how amazing. I lost my wedding band in 2020. And every time, at home, somewhere at home, and every time there's a Mercury retrograde, I hope I will find it. So perhaps this could be the case for you. You may find something that you lost, you misplaced in the past. And overall, you'll be also reviewing, reassessing your living arrangements, your domestic situation. Perhaps you'll be catching up with some bills as well, documents that you wanted to review, but you didn't have time. So you might be also doing that during the retrograde phase. All right, so here we've got a full moon in Libra on the 6th at 16 degrees of Libra. And Libra, this is your 9th house, and the full moon in Libra brings a matter concerning legal documents, matters concerning immigration, export, import businesses, higher education. Something connected to these topics might be on your mind, or perhaps might be there also the topic, the theme of this full moon. Now, a full moon in the 9th could also see you launching a product, launching a book, publishing a book, a blog, because with the 9th house, we generally sometimes have this strong need to share our knowledge, share our talents and skills. And if you've been working on something consistently and productively over the last 6 months, for example, since that new moon in Libra, then during this full moon in Libra, you might decide you want to launch this service, this business into the outside world on a global scale. Now, some Aquarius rising will be traveling. This could be about the expansion of your business. So also an international business, international connection. So you might be also networking with people, and you might be promoting your business, your product, for example. Now, this is also about some highlights for people who are involved in careers connected to law, to teaching, and even for those who have businesses that involve import and export related matters. So lots of different things could be happening here, connected to the ninth house, so expansion, adventure, spontaneity, adrenaline. This could be also the theme. Now, the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus is in a very close proximity to Uranus at this point, and that's in your fourth house. So overall, there could be also an element of surprise, something satisfying outcomes that suddenly shows up out of the blue, connected to your hard work, connected to something that you've been working on or something you've been dealing on. So a positive outcome could be quite also the case. Now on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and Venus in Gemini, that's your fifth house. So a beautiful time for being creative, for going on dates, for having for enjoying the romantic side of your life. Your relationship with your children should be also pretty pleasurable and easygoing. With Venus here, you seek stimulation, you seek versatility in your romantic side of life, you seek versatility also when it comes to activities with your children even. Now, Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th and of April and the 1st of June. So during this time, you might feel like doing something different, eccentric, unique, something that out of the ordinary, something that could kind of allow you to live your life in a more carefree way, because this is also the area of your creative side of life. So there's this need for a creative self-expression, for generally for reconnecting with your inner child, and you might be finding different alternative ways for doing so. Venus in Gemini connects very well with your Aquarius rising sign, and also in the initial phase it will also trine Pluto in your sign. So there could be some really empowering moments that you might experience with your romantic partner, or perhaps a project that you've been working on could bring some really strong satisfaction, fulfillment, or perhaps you might start a new hobby, or perhaps you might have this strong and compulsive even a need to dive deep into some new hobbies or interests that might spark your interest around this time as well. Now on the 19th, 20th, there is a solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so the sign of initiation, and the 29th degree is a critical anoretic degree. So there is this feeling of having to achieve something quickly, immediately. So you might feel slightly impatient, especially since this is happening in your third house. The third house deals with movement, action, stimulation, mental stimulation. So perhaps you are working on something that is very much connected to mental stimulation. So perhaps a new project, new idea. And this could be also a theme of the upcoming 2 years, because this eclipse is, of course, connected to a new series of eclipses that will last until early 2025. Aries and Libra. Here we are moving into a new series this year, and so are the nodes as well. Later in a couple of months, the nodes will move into Aries and Libra. At this point, the nodes are still in Scorpio and Taurus. So there's that influence on also on your home sphere. So whatever you begin around this time, whatever project you want to launch in the very near future, this is going to also impact your living situation. So perhaps with all the eclipses that you've had since the late 2021 on your home and career area, perhaps many Aquarius rising relocated throughout this time. There could have been a major shift in the career life as well. But at the same time here, you're about to move into a very different era with Pluto also in your first house. And perhaps whatever is happening at your home and whatever it is that you're basically dealing with, and this could be like a major project connected to a larger group community, or perhaps you want to make an impact on humanity, on others, you want to help others with some major project that you're about to launch, whatever it is. This new moon solar eclipse will square Pluto in Aquarius. So there is something. Perhaps you might experience some internal battles that you will have to overcome. Perhaps this could be connected to some internal fears or some brand new emotions that you will have to overcome in order to move forward. Perhaps this could be also related to your Perhaps some wounds, being activated, connected to your lack of confidence in yourself, in your abilities, or in your intellect even. This could be the case here because the third house deals with our intellect, our mind, and with the square to Pluto, perhaps you might realize that there's something that you still need to learn before moving forward with this idea, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Perhaps there is something else that you need to fulfill. Or alternatively, something or someone might show their true colors. Perhaps you might realize that whatever you thought about, this could be a person, a situation, a goal, it's not what it seemed. So there could be some really strong realization that could be going through your mind as well at this point throughout April, especially around the eclipse, and a couple of days later, Mercury will station retrograde as well. What needs to change in order to feel emotionally satisfied with your life? So lots of different feelings, because as I said in the previous video, this isn't just about one particular event. You specifically are going through a major transit of Pluto, which is in your first house, in your sign. So you're experiencing these energies that are affecting all of us in a different way, on a much deeper level. Right, so we will explore these eclipses further, more in depth, more in detail in April. This is just to give you some heads up so that, I don't want to overwhelm you. A bite at the time, so to speak. And as I said, on the 21st, Mercury will station retrograde, and this retrograde will last until the 1st of May. And then on the 5th of May, we've got a lunar eclipse in your 10th house. So as you can see, there's a lot of action generally, a lot of action surrounded around your home, career, and also your own personal needs, desires, and then perhaps it's some kind of important project that you are working on, an important idea. There's something on your mind that basically you want to release into the outside world, into the air, into the universe. All right, so here we go, Aquarius. Thank you very much, and let's move into the next sign. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2023. So here this month, Mars is still in Cancer throughout the whole of the month, and also out of bounds until May the 4th. And Mars will be in Cancer until the second part of May, so still for quite some time. The good news is that Mars connects very well. Well, Mars in Cancer connects very well by a trine to your Pisces rising sign. So that's actually really positive, because you've got Saturn now in your first house, and Saturn is also in Pisces. So this means that you have this strong ability, especially in the initial days of April, for creating long-lasting plans, goals, or perhaps for obtaining long-lasting outcomes and result of whatever it is that you're working on. All right, so Mars is in your 5th house. So what does it mean? It means that you will be busy with your children. Mars speeds things up. Mars is the planet of action, drive. So generally here, things with your children will be pretty busy. And overall, there's a lot of stimulation and motivation even to express yourself in a creative way, creative sense. So you might be involved in some creative projects. At the same time, you might be also spending money on activities connected to your hobbies, interests, perhaps to your lifestyle. Or perhaps it could be some outgoings related to your children, childcare, holiday clubs, holiday activities, for example. The ruler of the 2nd in the 5th could also indicate that. Now, the travel is also definitely here the case, because then the ruler of the 9th is in the 5th. So perhaps you will be traveling throughout April or early May with your family, with your children. But overall, there's a lot of kind of stimulation for having some fun, for having some entertainment, joy in your life, especially since you've got Mars out of bounds here until the 4th, so you might feel like doing something different, eccentric, unique, original. There's also lots of passion here in your in your romantic side of life. So that's really great. Now, on the 3rd, Mercury will move into Taurus, into your 3rd house. Mercury in the 3rd feels great because this is the house that Mercury rules traditionally here, Gemini, Mercury. So here with Mercury in the 3rd house, there is likely to be a lot of communication, social interactions happening as well. With Mercury in the 3rd, there could be lots of emails, phone calls, texts. Generally, might be overwhelmed with the amount of people calling you, texting you, emailing you, and vice versa. So very active and busy time when it comes to socializing, catching up with things, but also there's this strong need for learning, for writing, for journaling, for getting involved in activities that are mentally stimulating. Now, this is also a fruitful time for generally for traveling, short distance travel, and for visiting places that are also of an educational nature. All right, so here Mercury will station retrograde on the 21st at 15 degrees of Taurus until May the 1st, and then this retrograde will end at 11 degrees of Taurus. So here, from the 21st of April until the 1st of May, you will be reviewing paperwork. You might be getting back to some courses that you didn't finish in the past. Perhaps these are self-study courses, online courses, distance courses, all sort of courses here, things that you started in the past, you didn't finish. It's an excellent time for returning into those. At the same time, this is also a good time for rewriting any tests or redoing your driving license, for example. And with Mercury, this could be also about reconnecting with people from your community, neighbors, siblings. This is about doing generally for getting on with things that already were kind of initiated in the past. Anything brand new is not usually recommended during the retrograde phase because our judgment is usually clouded. We can't make solid and concrete decisions when it comes to something brand new. Any new ideas might no longer be interesting to you or appealing to you. Once Mercury stations direct, I personally started things during Mercury retrograde before, and so when Mercury was in a direct motion, I just kind of lost interest, and I thought like it's not worth it. Doesn't make sense anymore. So basically, with Mercury retrograde, we are not always realistic about our potential or opportunities. We can't always make the right decision, especially when it comes to something brand new and fresh. Think things through and sleep it through if you really, really have to start something around this retrograde. But overall, this is a good time for redoing, rewriting, and revisiting anything that basically you've already done in the past, anything that you're familiar with as well. All right, so that's Mercury. Now on the 6th, we've got a full moon in Libra. A full moon in Libra, so a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in opposition. In the opposing signs, the moon is fully illuminated at this point, and Libra, this is your 8th house. So here a matter concerning money might come into light. This could be in regards to your inheritance. This could be in regards to investments that you may have, mortgage application. Perhaps if you applied for a mortgage or a loan, then during this full moon, you might gain your answers. You might get your answers. You might get an offer. You might get a reply, because a full moon is about the resolution, an end to a matter. Or perhaps this could be a highlight of a major situation you've been dealing with for quite some time. And during this full moon, things become clear. There's a greater awareness. Now, you might be also dealing with some outgoings, especially with the ruler of your 2nd house here in the 5th. So as I said, there could be something to do with your children. There could be something to do with some personal projects as well, because the ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus is in a close proximity to Uranus. Or perhaps this could be about receiving some news or a response to something that you've been awaiting. And this could be quite of a surprise as well. It could come in the least expected moments. For example, here Uranus is connected to the unexpected, the unforeseen. And often with Uranus, it's just a big surprise. But with Venus involved, it looks like it could be a pretty satisfying outcome. Now, on a different level, with a full moon in the 8th house, this is also in regards to you wanting to move away from some unhealthy habits, or perhaps you having some strong realizations about some aspects of your life that perhaps you were not aware of before as a result of other things that have been going on your mind. Now, lots of different ideas, but here with the 8th house, this is a very deep house, a house that deals with deep energy. So overall, the full moon or a transit of the moon in the 8th could bring a certain degree of anxiety and worry. So if you feel like this, then do something that will make you feel relaxed. Even a little walk outside, a little candle of some flowers in a vase could make you feel better, or even a conversation with another person, whatever it is that you find soothing. Get involved in this activity, and especially if you feel like this full moon is making you feel slightly tense. All right, so on the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and Gemini, this is your 4th house, and Venus will remain here until the end of the month, and then until the beginning of May. Venus will be out of bounds between the 17th of April and the 1st of June, so this is quite a while. So during this time, you might have some really interesting ideas, unique and original ideas on how you can improve your living situation. Perhaps this will be related to some new gardening ideas, tips, and so on. But overall, with Venus here, you want to make your home space a comfortable, a cozy space to live. So this could be about renovating, this could be about getting new paintings or some decorations for your home. Perhaps this could be about planting some new plants, flowers, seeds, whatever it is in your garden as you prepare for the new season, especially in the northern hemisphere. We are moving into spring, and you might find Venus in Gemini really exciting and enjoyable, because you'll be able to get yourself out there and beautify your home space, your garden. Overall, Venus in Gemini can be really fun. The only thing is that on the 15th, in the middle of the month, it will square Saturn. So perhaps it could be some tension or some tense news that you may receive, or perhaps someone might disagree with you. A family member might disagree with you with in regards to an idea you may have concerning some future plans. So this is basically at the beginning of this transit, but overall it looks like you will have some really fun times and new ideas for having some more fun at your home. Now here on the 19th, 20th, we've got a big event. We've got a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries at 29 degrees. So we are beginning a new cycle of the new series of eclipses on Aries and Libra axis that will last until early 2025. I've discussed these in my previous videos. I like new beginnings, but here as your chart ruler, your rising sign is a multiple sign, so you are flexible, you are adaptable, at least to a certain extent. So you will go along with these energies. Now, a new moon in Aries here. This is about something fresh, something new that I feel could already start around the new moon in Aries on the 21st of March. But there is some new beginnings in your financial area. Perhaps this could be related to some changes, upcoming changes concerning your income, a promotion. This could be about changes at your work, perhaps a bonus commission, investments, a new retirement plan, for example. So whatever it is, we look at the big cycle here. We look at this 2-year cycle of these eclipses. And this is basically what could happen in the next 2 years. This is just the beginning, the first eclipse in the sign of Taurus, in the sign of Aries in your 2nd house. So some fresh new beginnings, some new ideas that will help you to improve your financial situation. So there is a strong focus during this time on establishing that safety and security in your life, and with these eclipses. And this could very much indicate a new source of income, or perhaps an increase in your income situation, or perhaps you're undergoing some changes in your organization. You're moving into a different position, into a different even organization or department. But here, this isn't going to happen on the day for all Pisces rising. This could be slightly of a step-by-step process here. The eclipses take up to 6 months to generally become activated. And at the same time, this new moon solar eclipse will square Pluto in Aquarius, which has already moved into your 12th house. So perhaps at the same time, you will have to overcome some internal blockages, some internal fears or setbacks that you might be experiencing at this time that perhaps hold you back towards your success, that perhaps hold you back towards feeling more confident within yourself, within your own body, so to speak. But overall here, with Saturn in the first house, you started this new phase and a more mature, more responsible couple of years, especially in the initial phase of this transit. And with Jupiter in Aries this year, there's a lot of abundant and expansive energy that really helps you to improve your financial situation. And with the eclipses that will be in Aries and Libra in the next 2 years, you will undergo major changes. And oftentimes when I looked at many people with Libra rising in the last 2 years who had these eclipses in their houses in the 2nd and the 8th, many people changed their jobs, they inherited money, they invested their money, they started a side business, for example, or perhaps they were promoted. So lots of new opportunities are around the horizon, which we will explore, or I will explore in April. So thank you very much, and until the next time. All right, so we reached the final sign for this forecast. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you a fruitful month of April, and I will catch up with you throughout the month. Thank you and bye for now.